Chapter 10. Prince Vasily kept the promise he had given to Princess Drubetskaya, who had spoken to him on behalf of her only son, Boris, on the evening of Anna Pavlovna's soiree. So, Prince Vasily kept his promise.
Yeah, he had given
about the son of this Princess Drubetskaya. Princess Drubetskaya asked Prince Vasily to find a position for her son, Boris. The matter was mentioned to the emperor, so actually he brought it to the emperor. An exception made, and Boris transferred into the regiment of Semenov Guards with the rank of cornet. So it happened. So I'm saying that Boris got transferred to the regiment. Remember what regiment we came before that?
Oh, yeah.
Regiment of Semenov Guards, just some name, with the rank of cornet. I don't know what that rank is, like what kind of position. He received, however, no appointment to Kutuzov's staff.
He's who?
Boris did not receive any appointment.
Kutuzov's who?
Kutuzov is General Kutuzov.
The position?
Yes, that's the one I think his mom asked Prince Vasily to put him there. Not exactly sure. Despite all of Anna Mikhailovna's endeavors and entreaties.
What
so
do you
I think her mother, Boris' mother, asked Vasily to promise to put her son in Kutuzov's staff, but did not happen. So he didn't receive any, right? Despite
he
all
received, however, no appointment to
Kutuzov's staff.
Despite
all of Anna Mikhailovna's endeavors and entreaties. Even though
Anna what?
Mikhailovna's endeavors and entreaties, what she tried and she asked Prince Vasily to do.
What?
And this Drubetskaya is also called Anna Mikhailovna. That's the same person.
Is it older woman?
Yes. Efforts, endeavors, efforts.
And
entreaties. Entreaties like pleading for somebody, asking for help from somebody. No, Prince Vasily only promised to help her.
Yeah.
And then she kept asking him to put him into Kutuzov's staff, which he couldn't do.
Oh, okay.
Soon after Anna Pavlovna's reception, Anna Mikhailovna returned to Moscow. So she lives in Moscow. Anna Pavlovna is in St. Petersburg. So we know Petersburg is where the emperor is probably located.
Maybe.
And went straight to her rich relations, the Rostovs, with whom she stayed when in town, and were her darling Boris is her boy Boris, who had only just entered a regiment of the line and was being at once transferred to the guards as a cornet. So she went back to Moscow to her relation means of her friends who happened to be rich, Rostovs. And then I guess her son is Boris is staying with the Rostovs. Only entered the regiment, had only just entered a regiment of the line, meaning that he wasn't with the guards, he was at the line, but he already entered the army.
But not.
Now he's going to be transferred over to the guards as a cornet, so he got moved.
Be transferred to the guard as a cornet. Yeah. So this is a high position.
Just a different position next to the emperor, okay? I don't know whether it's high or not. I don't know how high cornet is.
So what does regiment mean?
Regiment is a group. It's like a group of soldiers, okay?
A group of soldiers. What is this guard? Guards as a.
It's a different kind of. I told you I don't know what cornet is, and guards is like something closer guarding the emperor or something. Somebody who's taking care of the emperor.
Is what she persuaded Prince Vasily to.
No, it's not. She wanted Prince Vasily to put him into Kutuzov's location. That's what she asked him to do.
But it's only transferred to the guards as a cornet.
Correct.
Okay. Had he been educated?
Boris had been educated from childhood and lived for years at a time. I don't know. Had been educated from childhood and lived for years at a time. I don't know what that means. Lived for years. The guards had already left. Petersburg on the 10th of August, and her son, who had remained in Moscow for his equipment, was to join them on the march to Razilov. So the guards already moved from Petersburg. Normally they are together with the emperor, but they moved somewhere else. And so her son...
On the what? On the 10th of August?
Yeah. And her son, Boris, stayed in Moscow for his equipment. Apparently he's going to receive some equipment. And so he's going to join them later on the march to this location.
So the guard go to this occasion first.
No, they're going to go. They don't know where they're going. It's saying that they're marching to this location, Radivlov. It's not that important, right? So the guards are gonna march to this location. Her son is not with the guards right now. He's gonna meet with them in the somewhere in between. It was Saint Natalia's day, and the name of the day of two of the Rostovs, the mother and the youngest daughter, both named Natalie. So that day, I don't know what day was, Saint Natalia's day, and that's the same name of the two of people in Rostov's family, the mother and the youngest daughter, called Natalie.
What? The same day as the what?
It's just saying the date, okay? The day is Saint Natalia's day, okay? That's Saint Natalia's day, okay? Number one. That day is Saint Natalia's day, okay? Understand that? It's the name of the day, right? Which is Natalia. It's also the same name as two of the Rostovs. The mother and the youngest daughter are both called Natalie.
Okay.
Ever since the morning, carriages with 6 horses have been coming and going continually. I don't know where. Some carriages with some big carriage, because there's 6 horses each carriage, and coming and going, bringing visitors to the Countess Rostova's big house on the Povarskaya, so well known to all Moscow. So they're rich people. So because this day is the same as the Countess' name, a lot of people come to visit her.
Who is she?
She's a countess. Okay. Anna, the old lady, is living with the Rostovs in Moscow.
Okay.
Boris is staying with the Rostovs in Moscow.
Yeah.
Understand?
Understand.
This is a family called Rostov. This day happens to be Saint Natalia's day. The mother's name is Natalie, and the youngest daughter name is Natalie. Because of that, a lot of people are going to their place.
Okay, so the countess is their place?
Countess is the name of the main woman of the family. Count Rostov, Countess Rostov.
Okay.
Big house on the Povarskaya, so well known to all Moscow. The countess herself and her handsome eldest daughter were in the drawing room with the visitors who came to congratulate and who constantly succeeded one another in the relays. I don't know about this relays. So the visitors came into the drawing room to congratulate.
Yeah, and who is
Who?
this one?
And who is a visitor, right? Visitors constantly succeeded one another in relays. Okay, fine. Succeeded means come after. So one, succeed in this case means come after.
Come after?
One, another one come in relays. So group by group come in.
Okay.
The countess was a woman of about 45 with a thin oriental type of face. So she looks oriental. I don't know why. Evidently worn out with
It's
childbearing.
Oriental.
Asian. Oriental. What she's when they say
The countess
Oriental.
means this the host.
Countess Rostov.
Host.
Hostess.
It's a woman.
Yes. She's 45 with a thin oriental type of face. Evidently worn out with childbearing, so that her face was worn out. Just like that Boris' mom's face is worn out with childbearing.
What worn out?
Worn out means like you have an old shoe, you keep wearing it, it'll be worn out.
Oh.
Okay? You have a shoe you keep just using every day, it'll be worn out. You have a shirt you wear every day, it's going to be worn out.
So his face worn out.
Yes. With childbearing. Maybe she has 2 or 3 children, I don't know.
Oh.
And she already had 12. He had 12 children, so she's kind of really worn out.
She had 12 children.
12 children. A languor of motion and speech. Languor means kind of slowness of motion and speech, resulting from weakness, gave her a distinguished air which inspired respect. So languor means slowness of motion.
Slow motion.
And speech.
Slow speech.
And speech. Resulting from weakness, because she was weak. Gave her a distinguished air, so her air was distinguished. Because he felt like when people are talking slowly, it feels like they're more important. So get people respect. Prince Anna Mikhailovna Drubetskaya, who was a member of the household, was also seated in the drawing room. Okay, so this old lady was also in the drawing room.
Okay.
Keep going. Helped to receive and entertain the visitors.
Oh.
The young people were in one of the inner rooms, not considering it necessary to take part in receiving the visitors. So only the countess and this Anna were sitting in that visitor room. That's inside. The count met the guests and saw them off, inviting them all to dinner. So the count is also there. So he's probably said hi to the guests, saw them off, and invited them to come
The
to
count
dinner.
is who? Other people?
There's count and countess. Okay, there's a count and countess. Yes, I'm very grateful. I'm very, very grateful to you, mon cher. Or ma chère means my dear, but for woman. He called everyone without exception and without the slightest variation in his tone. So he calls everybody.
Same.
I'm very grateful to you, mon cher. I'm very grateful to you, my cher. So he said the same thing to everyone.
Okay.
My dear, whether they were above or below him in rank.
Okay.
I thank you for myself and for our two dear ones whose name they were keeping. But mind you come to dinner or I shall be offended, my cher. On behalf of the whole family, I beg you to come, mon cher.
What does this mean?
Mon cher means my dear, okay?
Okay, my dear.
All right.
Okay.
So, thank you for coming. Already said that.
Oh, thank you.
But don't forget to come to dinner. If you don't come, I'll be offended. That's what he said.
I shall be offended.
Yes.
Mind you come to dinner or
Mind means remember to come to dinner.
Or
I shall be offended.
Offended means
Insulted, offended. You offend me means you do something I don't like.
I shall be offended.
Yes. If you don't come, I'll feel offended.
I will feel offended.
Yes.
Okay.
On behalf of the whole family, I beg you to come, monsieur. These words,
On behalf.
on the behalf of someone, like I speak on behalf of my whole family, means I'm speaking for my whole family. So it's on behalf means I am representing my whole family. On behalf means I represent the whole family. I beg you to come.
Okay.
These words he repeated to everyone without exception or variation. So he said this to everyone. And with the same expression of his full, cheerful, clean-shaven face. So now we see a little bit of him. His expression is full, means probably full face, means that he's not thin. Cheerful.
Happy?
Clean-shaven.
Clean-shaven?
Doesn't have anything, no beard. The same firm pressure of hand. The same firm pressure of the hand and the same quick and repeated bows. So he has a firm. So when you shake your hand, firm pressure, and he also very quick repeated bows.
Okay.
As soon as he has seen a visitor off, he returned to one of those who were still in the drawing room. So he says bye to somebody, and he goes quickly to say some bye to another person.
Okay.
Drew a chair toward him or her, and gently spreading out his legs and putting his hands on his knees with the air of a man who enjoys life and knows how to live. He swayed, so he sat on the chair, put his hands on his knees, whatever, and he swayed to and fro with dignity. Offered surmises about the weather, surmises about the weather, his guesses about the weather. So we know that, so we already saw here, he see a visitor off, and then he comes, and then he go back to the drawing room, and he drew a chair, means he took a chair toward him, or her, I don't know why toward him or her, and then he spread out his legs, putting his hands on his knees with the air of a man who enjoys life and knows how to live. And then he swayed to and fro with dignity.
Dignity means movement.
No, dignity is again dignified, like a king, like a somebody important. Dignity. With dignity. Offered surmises means guesses about the weather. So you talk about what you think about the weather. Tomorrow's gonna rain or whatever. Or touch on questions of health. Sometimes in Russian and sometimes in very bad but self-confident French. Sometimes he talks in Russian or French. Then again, like a man weary, like tired, but unflinching. He doesn't, although he's tired, he doesn't flinch, means he doesn't, like fall down or something, unflinching in the fulfillment of duty. Unflinching fulfillment of duty actually means something. It means that he never give up his duty. Unflinching means he always does what's supposed to do. Unflinching. In the fulfillment of duty, he rose to see some visitors off and stroking his scanty gray hairs. He doesn't have much hair left, so some gray hairs over his bald. So he already has a bald patch. There's something empty already, and he has some little bit of gray hair. And I'll also ask them to dinner.
Stroking.
Stroke. This is kind of stroking.
Stroking his hairs.
Scanty gray hairs.
Scanty gray hairs.
Scanty means little left.
Okay, over his
Bald patch. He has a bald patch, meaning empty already.
Oh.
I also ask him to dinner.
Okay.
Sometimes on his way back from the anteroom, he would pass through the conservatory and pantry. So recall he sometimes need to walk back to the anteroom. He would pass through the conservatory. It's a place where you like grow flowers or whatever. And pantry is a place where you like next to the kitchen. Into a large marble dining hall. That's where they eat dinner. Where tables were being set out for 80 people. So there's a big dining table for 80 people. Imagine that. Such a big dining table. And looking at the footmen, that's the people who serve, who were bringing in silver and china. So they're already preparing the table. Moving tables and unfolding damask table linen. Damask is a type of tablecloth that you put on table. Damask, okay? He would call Dmitry Vasilyevich a man of good family and the manager of all his, so somebody who manages his affairs, right? So he's the owner, count, right? But normally he has somebody who take care of things in the house. So that's this Dmitry guy. A man of good family and the manager of all his affairs, and while looking with pleasure at the enormous table would say, "Well, Dmitry, you'll see that things are all as they should be. That's right. The great thing is serving. That's it." So he's looking at this big table, and all the servants are putting like stuff to get ready for this big dinner. Okay, so he said to his servant or to this manager, "You see that all things as. Do you see everything as they should be? Do you see everything is okay?" Before he went back, he wanted to check how the dining room was. Okay. It's a very rich guy. You know, he's only because this day has the same name as his wife's name and his daughter's name. All these people come and visit him. All the people come and visit him. And then he says at the end, "You don't forget to come to dinner." How many people do you think are going to come to dinner? He has a table of already 80. 80 people can go to this table.
How many?
80 people. Table for 80, he says. 80 people.
Well, how many people visit?
I don't know how many people are going to visit. And with a complacent sigh, he would return to the drawing room. So he checked it and he goes back to the drawing room because he needs to see other people off again.
With a complacent sigh.
Complacent. That is, complacent means complacent is actually kind of okay. You feel complacent means that you feel okay, you feel satisfied. Sigh,
Okay.
you return to the drawing room.
Okay, we stop here.
Okay, bye everyone.